Hey everybody, welcome back to Gemstone Chronicles.
Yeah, Gemstone Chronicles.
It's been a long day today, so...
and it's only 3.
It's only 3 o'clock. Yeah, it's only going to get longer.
Yep, that's okay though.
All right, everybody remembers Michael from
y'all.
the Opal video and the Diamond video?
Yeah, so much fun.
Yeah.
But today's my favorite day.
And what day is that?
Because it's Tourmaline Day.
And why is it your favorite?
I don't know.
Is it the color range?
That's probably the big part of it, is the fact that if you can think of a color, you can find a tourmaline to either match or come very close to that shade.
Sure.
And it's one of the few stones that have actually been synthesized, but it's so difficult to do.
Really?
And they've only been able to produce tiny pieces of material that it's not viable or not worth doing.
So it's like when GE made a diamond out of peanut butter in the 60s.
Yeah.
It's just not viable.
Right. Maybe technology, just like the whole
in
diamond
20
thing.
years or 40 years, it might be viable. Is there a lot of tourmaline still in the ground?
Yes.
Okay, so that's not like an exhaustive...
Paraíba excluded, because those have already been mined to the point where there's just literally a trickle.
Should we touch on Paraíba?
Of course.
Okay, so what is Paraíba tourmaline?
Paraíba tourmaline is copper-bearing tourmaline. So in its chemical formula that's this long, copper is part of it.
Okay.
And it originally came from Paraíba, Brazil, which is where it got the name.
Yeah.
And the name is a whole other controversy.
Yes.
Because you can also find copper-bearing or Cuprian tourmaline in a couple other places.
Mozambique.
Let's see. I think they did find some in Nigeria a while back, but that's since, I believe that has been mined out.
What about the Afghani tourmaline?
It can get very brightly colored, but it contains no copper.
Contains no copper, so it's bright because of other reasons.
Yes.
Okay.
So and it doesn't take a lot of copper to make those vivid colors, and that's why they're so highly prized.
It does look a little like apatite.
You know, I can put them side by side, and sometimes they're very difficult to tell.
Yeah, the problem with apatite is, though, you really don't want to facet one and put it in a ring. It's too soft.
Very soft.
Yeah.
Tourmaline's much more durable, much harder, much stronger.
Yeah. But beads, apatite is perfect, which we have a lot of apatite beads, and we have tourmaline beads, too. Right. Okay, so tourmaline, Africa, Brazil.
Yeah.
San Diego, we talked about this before.
And Maine.
Mm-hmm. Is there any other commercial?
Yeah, so Brazil, here.
Afghanistan,
we mentioned. Russia. Actually, yeah, you can get some really nice rubelites from Russia.
Yeah, I don't think we're allowed to, are we?
Maybe not currently. But
yes.
I mean, if it's already in the country.
Well, yeah, that's about a lot of product.
Yeah, no joke,
it's already in the country.
But yeah, so I mean, it's a worldwide stone, and there are pockets. I say pockets, meaning that they're just rare occurrences. You can probably find them in other places or yet to be discovered. So, and I say that because there's a tourmaline, a little tiny parcel that I bought in San Diego that was found in Vista when they were digging up the area to build the Vista Court Complex.
Okay.
So there was one little pocket of tourmaline found, and
how cool is that?
Now that there's a courthouse and a jail on top of it, I doubt they'll be digging up any more.
Well, I was watching a gold show the other day. They were talking about gold in Georgia.
Yeah,
Galataga. Okay, I don't know if you saw the show.
I did not.
But there was an ice cream shop. And in the back of the ice cream shop, underneath the freezer, is a giant hole that goes straight down that they were digging for gold. Now, the reason why it was there is because there was a law you could not dig in the square, okay, of where the town was, the downtown square. So what they did was they built the building back in the day when there was the first gold rush, and they dug in the building straight down.
So it's like the speakeasy of gold mines.
Exactly.
Ooh, that gives you some ideas.
Yeah, that show is Backyard Gold with Dave, Dozer Dave from Gold Rush days.
Oh, that's cool.
Really interesting that there is gold in the backyards. Well, we won't talk about gold, but there's gold in a lot of, I don't think Florida has gold, but I think almost every other state there is gold.
Yeah, I'm sure if you looked hard enough and long enough, you may find a fleck or two. But we're known for fossils.
Florida, no, you'll find an alligator or two.
Yeah, we find fossils, not gold.
Yes, that's Tampa Bay is the big fossil.
Yeah, although some of them fossils can be worth as much or more.
Yes. All right, so you brought a nice collection of tourmaline.
I did, and it literally, again, like I said before, spans the spectrum of color, and that's actually where tourmaline got its name. It comes from an old, I believe, Sanskrit word, Tourmaline,
Okay.
meaning rainbow.
Okay.
And here are...
Hold it up to the camera if you can.
It was
There you go. We don't want to.
chore. I was going through an existential crisis trying to limit myself to this many to bring.
Ah, cool. Cool.
I mean...
So we're going to go through them and talk about them.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions, put it down in the comment sections. And we do read the comments. We don't get a lot of comments, but we do read
yet.
them. And we'll go and get back to you with them.
Yeah.
So let's do it.
Let's dig into it.
All right. All right. So this is your tray of
This is my
hoarding.
my extremely pared down tray of tourmaline, but it encompasses most, if not all, of the different colors you can find tourmaline in.
Okay, so we've got the color range here.
Right, and there's many different locales. There's like 3 different continents. There's 2 U.S. states. You know.
Do you have to trust the cutter, or can you tell where they came from?
A lot of times you have to trust from the person from whom you're buying.
Okay.
So, because there are several mines that have similar colors.
Okay.
So just because something looks like it may come from one mine doesn't necessarily mean it does.
Okay.
But we'll start, with the greens because those
All right.
are probably the most common.
Let's start with the greens. What you got?
All right, this one here.
Let's pull this out.
So this is a killer.
Oh my God.
Tourmaline. And this is actually what they considered chrome tourmaline because it has
Okay.
chromium in the chemical composition.
Which, if it was in beryl, that would be an emerald.
Yep. Or if it
with
was
the
in
chromium.
if it was in corundum, it'd be a ruby.
That'd be a ruby. Okay, so ruby has chromium.
Yes.
Okay, look at that.
Yep.
See, we're all learning something.
Yeah. And this is one of those. It's a lesser known and not as common variety of tourmaline. Mm-hmm. But you'll definitely find. There we go. Some nice greens, but they're not always going to be that intense, like, rich, saturated color.
Here, you can see over here. There we go.
There it is.
Look at that.
I mean, a beautiful stone.
And if you're ever looking at stones for yourself, put it between your fingers.
Yeah.
Really, because you want to see how it looks with your skin hue.
Not only that, but the way the stone is cut with that the culet on the pavilion.
Yeah,
the
look at
pavilion,
that.
It nestles right in the crease of your finger.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
But do it upside down. No, like this with the fingers.
Doesn't matter to me.
Okay. All right, what else we got?
Let's see, what else? Oh, we were talking about domestic tourmalines.
Oh,
You were
yeah,
talking about
let's
San
see
Diego.
San Diego.
And, well, this one is green, so we'll do this one. This one's actually from the state of Maine,
Okay.
from the Newry area. And this is a big sugarloaf cab.
We talked about sugar loaves before.
Very common in usually lower quality stones, but there's something to be said for a nice, clean, crisp cab.
Travis was telling me they are cutting it in Colombia, emeralds and sugar loaves.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought it was a Jaipur thing or Indian thing. Cool. I love that cut. I do
As
love
do
that cut.
I.
Yeah, I think you get a better body color.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely can. And this hot little number, this is from San Diego County. This is from the Tourmaline Queen mine.
Okay.
And there's actually probably a dozen mines that produce tourmaline and beryl and kunzite in the area. The Tourmaline King is on the opposite side of the mountain from this one, the Tourmaline Queen. So,
Really original names there.
well, you should see the material that they pulled out of those 2 mines.
They're a real prince of a mine, aren't they?
Oh, they're total gems. And the San Diego mines are known for their intense, bright pinks.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Let's see. Speaking of pinks, here is a range. I don't want to take the lid off for obvious reasons, but this is an ombre of from light pink to darker, like a darker reddish pink or pinkish red.
Okay. What does ombre mean?
Ombre is basically color fade.
Okay.
A rainbow is technically an ombre, but it's a multicolored ombre.
Because I bought ombre sapphires and ombre tourmaline from Afghanistan, and yes, the colors ranged on the strand. It had nothing to do with the material. It had all to do with the color.
Exactly.
I had no idea. I learned something else today.
Yeah. So any kind of color fade from light to dark or like green to yellow would be considered an ombre.
All right, so I could call my beads ombre.
Technically, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hey, come down to Babs Speed Warehouse and get ombre beads.
So anytime you get a tourmaline that is blue dominant,
Indicolite?
it's called indicolite, from the word indigo for blue.
Okay, so all blue tourmaline is indicolite.
It has to be blue dominant.
Blue dominant.
So it has to be 51% blue, and the other 49% can be purple or green or...
But it's not a trace mineral in there.
I'm sure it is.
Oh, it is. It makes
yeah.
it- yeah.
In fact, every one of these has, you know, the
Well,
base
I
chemical.
think what I'm referring to is every blue tourmaline will have the same trace
Yes.
element in it.
Yeah, more
Got
than
it.
likely, yeah.
Got it.
And this one is closer to a pure blue. It's more of technically more of an indigo color. It's a little bit on the darker side,
Yeah.
almost an ink blue.
Yeah. If that were sapphires, and we didn't know what we were talking about, that'd be a very expensive sapphire, but that's not how it works.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, it's still not an inexpensive color.
Oh, no.
Indicolite is certainly not the least expensive, but certainly not the most.
And please don't ask for indicolite beads because I've seen some blue in an ombre of colors on there, but not a strand of total blue.
Yeah, like I said, it's not very common material. It's not, again, not the rarest color, but it's certainly not common.
Cool. It's a beautiful color.
Yeah, and like I said, you can get greenish blues, purplish blues, even like dark, like a very pure blue.
If you want blue that doesn't break the bank, tanzanite and iolite are probably your good blue stones.
Even
that are
kyanite.
Not. We talked about that story, didn't we? We won't talk
Yeah.
about that story again. But yeah, even kyanite, if you can find that in a faceted stone.
So this is a really unusual stone. This is from
Let's move
Tanzania,
it in the center there.
or
There you
Tanzania,
go.
however you want to say it.
Uh-huh.
It is, I mean, you can see it in person. It is a bright, intense, almost neon green,
Yes.
but
you
it's
can
not
see that.
Paraíba. This is from, again, Tanzania, and it has vanadium in it.
Vanadium.
Another cause
Right.
of green in the emerald.
Right.
But in this one, it just creates a really bright, poppy, intense, almost neon color in tourmaline.
I had some emeralds that had so much vanadium in it, they looked like they had metallic. It had a metallic look to it. It was really bizarre.
It's kind of like Savarite in that regard. Savarite to me looks
Yeah.
metallic.
Yeah. Oh, yes, it does. Yes, Savarite looks very metallic.
And then, since we're on the topic of bright and vivid and intensely colored stones,
This is Paraíba.
these are Brazilian Paraíba tourmalines.
This is the original Paraíba.
Yes. So these come from, I think it was Sao.
I remember in the 80s, these were not expensive at all.
Well,
They had no idea what the hell they were.
Back then, they were, even though
Yeah.
they were, in today's terms, not expensive. They were
Yeah.
still in the hundreds of dollars per carat, which back then was unheard of.
Yeah.
And the reason I bought these cabs is the fact that even though they're included, those they're called technically considered liquid-filled inclusions.
Okay.
Create a nice sparkle. It almost looks like someone put glitter in them.
Ah, okay. Yeah, you can see that.
Yeah. And then here are some really nice, clean, faceted stones
Yeah.
and some fun, unique shapes.
Yeah.
And these I bought in Tucson 2023. I was wandering, and of course, when you see something like these, they immediately catch your eye. Even though they're small, they're only 1 carat total. Mm-hmm. They're still 5 figures.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And since we're on the topic of Cuprian,
If you're in our local area, these stones would be great to go over to Mark Loren and have him create. Do you know Mark Loren?
not personally, but I know
No.
his work.
I know him
His
real
work
personally.
is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah,
He
this
does
is
some
this is the type of
wicked-
goods for Mark Loren.
Yeah. I mean, I have a design in mind for these, but if someone needs them before I get around to designing a piece, you know what? Everything has a price tag.
Yep. You can always contact us if you're interested in any of these pieces.
Yeah.
Just bring a checkbook.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we'll even take credit. But this one, this big marquise,
This is gorgeous.
it's still a Cuprian tourmaline, but this is from Mozambique. And although you can find Mozambique Cuprian tourmaline that's the same or close in intensity to the Brazilian stuff, usually they're a little bit lighter, a little bit less saturated, not quite as
Yeah.
vivid.
You can see this isn't as saturated, but whoever faceted this more than makes up for this lack of saturation.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
did
it is
well.
really beautifully faceted.
Oh, yeah, they did nice.
Beautiful. There's really no window or bow tie or anything in that. Is there bow ties in colored stones?
They can be, yeah.
There can be.
Generally, windows are more,
More prominent?
more common.
Okay.
So, and then one of my favorites, bicolors.
Bicolor tourmaline.
And this one I brought specifically just because half of the stone, the green side is a cat's eye or chatoyant.
Yeah,
and
see the chatoyancy? Yeah.
the pink side is not. And this is also from San Diego County. This is from the Himalaya mine, which is a quite famous mine in its own right.
Yeah, and it's got a really nice line of demarcation between the two colors. I mean, that is a nice straight line.
And this is a big chunker. This is, I think, 20-something carats. But not all bicolor tourmalines have to be watermelon color.
Nope.
So here's one that actually has purple in the middle. So you're mixing the green and kind of that bluish green on the other side. So it does have a purple zone right in the
Yeah,
middle.
the colors kind of flowing into each other.
Yeah. It's not a hard line, but a nice fade. I guess you can consider that an ombre.
All right, that's the word of the day. If the duck drops down and you say it, you win $100.
There you go.
All right, am I really dating myself now?
I think so. And then here's another really nice bicolor. This one is from Africa. And this one is warm color. So it has a red wine color and like an orangey, almost citrine looking color to it. And this had, when I found this was, oh God, I was still living in San Diego at the time. So 2012 maybe. Mm-hmm. It was the first time I'd ever seen this colorway in a bicolor tourmaline. So me being the hoarder that I am,
You had to have it.
I did. I couldn't say
Yes,
that.
and you do have it.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
Yes.
And then just something fun. Another representation of where the word tourmaline comes from. This
Yeah, it's got
has
lots
like
of color.
6 colors, I think. in it.
Yeah.
Six,
Yeah.
you know. And this I've had for decades. I got this early on in my jewelry career.
And even though these have inclusions in them, it doesn't matter. It's the color, the intensity far outweigh any inclusions that there may be in these stones.
Right. So when diamonds aside, when you're talking about colored stones, I mean, color is the most important factor.
Yes.
Here's a relatively a fun piece, and I have an almost identical piece at home that is a watermelon color, so it's green on the outside and pink in the middle, but it still has that triangular color zone. So I was thinking about doing cufflinks, but not many people do cufflinks anymore.
Well, that's kind of weird.
But in a lot of the Madagascar tourmalines, you'll find these triangular color zones.
Say everybody. That's cool.
And this is, I mean, it's almost like finding, I'm not gonna say a needle in a haystack, but it's proof that it's a genuine stone, and proof that it is natural.
So any jeweler going through AA, that would be a perfect stone for
Hey, there you go.
those of us that know what I'm talking about.
Right? Yeah. And these are fun. These are bright yellow tourmalines. And
Yeah.
I believe these are also from Tanzania. They are, in person, they're almost like a neon highlighter yellow. And again, not a very common color, but they're well cut, they're clean, they make a great pair of side stones for something in the middle.
Yeah, really hard for you all. We're using an iPhone 13, and it's the best I got to be able to do this. I hear it's better than the iPhone 15, but who knows?
Go with the Samsung.
Cool. I can. I'm in the Apple realm of the world.
I know.
There's a big lawsuit. The DOJ just threw a lawsuit against Apple for
No
that.
way.
Yep, for blocking. And this is clear?
This is acrolite tourmaline, or A-colored, so no color. It's colorless, or people say white tourmaline.
Without color.
Yeah. And this is
Oh, wow, that's pretty.
kind of like with diamond, or with sapphire, or with the beryl, the emerald family. This is base. Like, this is nothing but what makes tourmaline tourmaline.
Gotcha. It has none of the trace
the-
minerals
yeah.
in there to go and color it.
No elements to give it any kind of color.
Rare?
Yes.
Okay, so expensive.
Exceedingly. Not terribly expensive.
Not sought after? Is that why?
Yeah, there's really no demand for it. It's
Yeah,
more of a collector's
rarity has no bearing on price sometimes.
stone. Right. It's true. But it's a nice bright stone. It would be a nice diamond simulant. I know.
Oh, you would, at this point, just get a lab-grown diamond.
if you still want a natural stone
Yes.
and something that's relatively uncommon, or
What's the hardness?
it's a 7.
7? That's not bad.
Yeah, no, it's pretty durable.
Emerald is
It's 7.
7. So yeah.
It's just not tough because
Yeah.
in emeralds, or a lot of the barrels, they have inclusions, fractures that
Right.
reduce some of the toughness or durability. And then another relatively uncommon color is purple, like a pure purple. You can find, violet blues or, purplish pinks, but to find something that's a true, like, amethystine purple, very uncommon. Again, not
Interesting.
terribly expensive because not many people.
Well, it's a collector stone
Yeah, exactly.
to say, hey, I've got a purple tourmaline. You don't.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops.
That's all right. Fingers are the best tools.
Yes,
But yeah, it's a fun shape, and
it is.
as you can probably tell, I like fun and unusual. So
Very cool. Very cool.
2 more that are pretty fun. This is a purple-ish tourmaline, and this is the one I was referring to from Vista, California, where they found a single pocket when they were digging up the Vista Court complex. And I bought everything that the guy had just because it's a local. Well, at the time I was in San Diego, so it was a local stone, a domestic stone, and the fact that there will never be any more that will be coming out of the ground.
Cool. Cool.
And then last, but certainly not least, is a 2-tone or a bicolor Brazilian Paraíba tourmaline.
Oh, that's pretty.
It's a little tapered baguette, and it's
Yeah.
not super clean, but that doesn't bother me. Again, color is the most important thing. And to find a bicolor Paraíba, certainly not common. Certainly it's something that's one in a, let's say 1 in 10,000 may
Cool.
actually cut a bicolor.
Cool.
And it's not treated and not heated. A lot of I forgot to mention with the Paraíba tourmalines, a lot of time they're heated
Okay.
to change the color.
Okay.
The heating process will take out some of the green and leave you with a more pure blue stone.
Can it be tested for that?
No.
So then it's considered, if it is, it is. If it isn't, it isn't. It
Right.
has no effect on price unless,
not at all. A lot
unless
of
you're the
times-
person that cooked it.
Well, a lot of times it increases the value because
Yeah.
some people prefer that like Windex blue.
Yeah.
Personally, I like the ones that have more green in them.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of Paraíba tourmalines have been heated to change the color.
Cool. Have any of them infused with copper?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know if you can diffuse copper into tourmaline. I don't know if
Depends on who you talk to.
I've
Yeah.
never seen it done personally. I don't know.
I've heard it being done, but then again, that might have been from Robert.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if someone's tried it.
Yeah.
But again, the commercial viability is something completely different.
Yeah.
A lot of times when you're heating tourmaline, you're limited to the temperature in which you can heat. So I don't know
Gotcha.
if you can get the tourmaline hot enough to diffuse copper into
Gotcha.
it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that, everybody out there.
I know I did.
Yeah, I'm sure you did, showing off that beautiful collection of yours. Anything you want to add to the tourmaline? Some lore or...
I don't know much of the. I mean, I'm a gemologist, so I try to focus on the, nuts and bolts of the stones, how to
Okay.
identify it and how to, keep track and care for it. But, I mean, there's no shortage of. I'm not going to say mythological lore or. But,
Okay.
The
It's a fairly new stone. Wouldn't you... Like 60 years, 70 years?
which
not?
tourmaline?
Yeah.
Oh no! This is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years old.
Yeah. Okay.
They've been finding it for.
They've been finding
centuries,
it.
Yeah.
And how long has it been named tourmaline? For all those years also? Or?
Yeah, I think that Sanskrit word tourmaline is at least
Okay.
300 or 400 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, you can pick a color, you can find a tourmaline that'll come close, if not match.
And it's not always expensive. At least in beads, it's not. Though we have beads in the thousands of dollars, we also have beads for $10 a strand.
Right.
That are tourmaline, quite opaque. But if
hey-
you want tourmaline and don't want to spend the money for it,
Yeah,
we
look
have
at-
that, and we
there's
have
a-
got.
Yeah, there's always a range of prices and
Yes.
qualities. But when you're buying tourmaline, with any stone, buy the best you can afford.
Yeah, I actually find one that speaks to you.
Right.
Don't buy it for the sake that it's tourmaline. buy it. When you see the stone, you say, "My goodness, that's a beautiful stone. That's
agree.
what I want," and
Yeah.
and then buy it.
Right.
Because you're really going to be happy with that. And if you settle for something just because it's tourmaline, it's like, what is the
Yeah.
point?
I was gonna say, yeah, don't settle.
Yeah, there's a lot of stones you can settle with. You know, pearls is one of them. I think it's because of all the different grades, and it takes somebody like expert eyes like we have to tell between a double A or triple A, even though those doesn't exist.
Trade terms.
Trade terms, if that. Every pearl farm has its own grading system.
Right.
But the difference between a double and triple, and I actually have a video, matter of fact, we'll put it up here, on the difference in viewing of different grades of certain pearls that I did a video on.
Cool.
So we'll put that up there. Oh, and I want to thank you last week when I called you about those pearls. So it's something we can learn every day. And somebody was trying to sell me 10 millimeter plus pearls that were a really good deal. They were from the 80s. They had 14 karat gold class. They were from a supplier of ours. And she didn't know what they were. She thought they were Japanese. And I found out that over 8 millimeter, forget it. The mollusk won't survive that, will it, over 8 millimeter?
One of my guys did have some 11 millimeter Akoyas, but
That
they
must
were
have hurt.
absurdly expensive.
Yeah, that must have really hurt.
They looked like South Seas, and they were stunning, but
Yeah.
I mean,
But generally, we can tell South Seas. So she thought that this was either a Koya or a South Seas, because freshwater isn't normally round.
right, especially from that long ago.
Yeah, but they shaved them.
Oh.
They actually grind them round and stick them back in to grow more nacre on it to get round pearls. That's how freshwater pearl rounds were done. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I didn't buy them because I needed to buy them at what the clasps were worth and get the pearls at no cost, because the value's just not there.
Right.
So, but she did have strands of Tahitians that I made an offer on, that the offer's still standing. So
Okay.
we'll see. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that, and we have another little series that we're doing, deep diving into inclusions and gemstones, that we'll put a little link up here somewhere around here for you to go over to that playlist. We only have one uploaded. We're kind of experimenting with it, and we're going to get better at it.
Yes.
I'm going to get better at it. And if it goes over, maybe I'll go out, get a better camera, because I think half my problem with that is the microscope that I have.
That's okay.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, it's between a $100 microscope and a $5,000 microscope, and we're not there yet.
I'll take the $5,000 microscope, Alex. Thanks.
Yes, microscopes for $5,000. All right, you guys subscribe. We appreciate it. We love you. Make comments below, and we'll see you at the next video.
Take care, y'all.